What is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, bringing you some more feature matches from locals. Here we got round 1 at table 1, and we've got a Danger Lunalight or Lunalight Orcust player on the right, and a Sky Striker player on the left that I believe was in a feature match last week, or maybe the week before that. But yeah, if you guys, I actually do have the Lunalight deck profile. If you guys want to see that, let me know. We'll be posting it regardless because I think it is a really interesting deck. Never had it on the channel before. Also have another deck that's going to be featured in a feature match in the next coming days here that is also never been on the channel before. Never been on the channel, so a bit of a treat for you guys as well. So Sky Striker going first here, and not the most optimal turn. Shizuku being made here with the Hornet drones. And Envase trying to, what I assume might have been an engage, is met with an impermanence, so that is definitely not going to go through. And permanence a very, very strong card here. Now the Lunalight player debating on what those other back row might be, but getting started nonetheless with a Fire Formation Tanky to add a Lunalight monster from his deck to his hand, which, forgive me, I don't know all the Lunalight monsters, but I could easily know in just a split second. I believe, yeah, that is Lunalight Tiger that he added from his deck to his hand. Now doing some plays with, I believe, Kaleido Chick. Yeah, that is Kaleido Chick, and sending Yellow Marten to the grave off of its effect, which allows it to send any Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Then its name becomes that name of whatever you sent. So, pretty interesting effect there. Kind of reminds me of Elemental Hero Prisma. And then placing the Tiger into the scale, and then summoning out Yellow Marten, and looks like we're going to see an Xyz summon here. And I believe it's going to be the Raid Raptor Xyz, the 4 Strix. Any response on summon looks like it's going to be good. Detaching to search a level 4 or lower, I believe, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast, one or the other. I think it is Winged Beast, because that's what Raid Raptors are after all. Going for the Blackwing Zephyros Elite, what I've been told, a very important combo piece in this deck. And then looks like he's going to use the Tiger effect to bounce it to the hand to summon out that Yellow Marten from grave. And then linking here, Yellow Marten being banished. And I believe this is where we'll start to see some of the Orcust engine come into play, going for Nightmare Phoenix, which is pretty beneficial here, because not only is he going to be able to force / clear a back row here, he's also going to be able to go into his Nightmare plays off of it, so long as a Widow Anchor isn't played that would take the card from the side of the field. But luckily it's just an impermanence, and even if he did have a Widow Anchor, there's only one spell in the graveyard currently, so not going to make too big of a difference there. So Phoenix being linked away after discarding that Zephyros to the grave, because where else would you want that at this point? And going for Mermaid now. Assuming we'll see Mermaid's effect being used, discarding Danger Sneck. Danger Tsuchinoko being discarded to the graveyard. And we'll see that effect activate soon after we see the Nightmare being summoned, and Sneck summoning itself out of the graveyard just like that. And we're going to see a Demise of the Land played in response. Sky Striker feeling a bit threatened by this board. Doesn't want to miss out on the opportunity to be able to drop a Mystic Mine right on his head. Now, no monster effects can be activated since the Lunalight player does control more monsters, obviously. So, gonna have to find his way out of this. The easiest way to do so is obviously no spell trap removal via monster effect is going to be able to go through right now. But what he does need to happen is he needs to get an equal number of monsters on the board, which I think with this setup he can easily do that. So, linking away into a Galatea, and then I believe going to link again here into what might be possibly another Galatea. Yep, going to that zone that Shizuku points to. So successfully have dodged the Mystic Mine, but it has definitely forced him to waste some cards. That's probably not how he was planning to play out his turn, but nonetheless still very easy to play around this Mystic Mine. And it looks like we'll see the Orcust Nightmare being activated, which is nice because this does not summon one from the deck. It will send a Dark Machine. So I believe the Lunalight player plays a very, very small Orcust engine. I think it's only like 4 cards, just 2 Nightmare, 1 Symbol, and 1 Harp Horror. So very, very small Orcust engine. So dumping the Harp Horror to the graveyard and targeting Galatea, I assume, to boost it by 400. So it is now at 22, even though it is being dropped by 200 because there are two spells into the grave. So technically at 2,000, and then using Galatea to return Nightmare back to the deck and set an Orcust spell or trap from his deck, and it's going to be the Orchestrated Babble. So he'll have that for next turn, which is nice because he does have a Symbol Skeleton or a Harp Horror in the graveyard, which can come in clutch. And now going for the extra deck, going for the Dingirsu, still has the same amount of monsters as his opponent, so he's able to send that Mystic Mine to the graveyard, no problem. So that problem is dealt with. One card in hand in a multi-roll that is not doing him too good at this point. So as a Lunalight player, you've got pretty free reign right now. You're feeling pretty good. There's no Ray in the graveyard. Only thing you have to worry about is the Shizuku. You definitely want to clear that off the field in some way, shape, or form. You've got your field spell up as well. And looks like he's going to summon now off the Harp Horror, going for Symbol Skeleton. So this is going to follow up really nicely as he's going into battle phase here and going to run over the Shizuku for 800 with the Dingirsu, because that is being dropped by, I believe, 300 or 200. And then still swinging directly with the Symbol Skeleton for a full 1200. And then linking into a Galatea with Symbol and Dingirsu engrave and one set card. So feeling pretty good as a Lunalight player. Sky Striker setting 2 and passing. And end phase, we're going to see the Symbol Skeleton reviving the Dingirsu. Classic Orcust plays. Dingirsu going to activate its effect here to send a back row, and it's going to be a Mystical Space Typhoon, which comes in pretty clutch. Also, we'll see end phase effect to recycle one, but looks like his other set card was a double or nothing, which pretty unlucky card to draw for turn. I believe he probably drew that for turn. Very, very unfortunate. Not the best opening for Sky Strikers, of course, unfortunately. But here we head into game 2. One thing I want to mention real quick is a shout out to our sponsor at Imperium Duelist, providing some amazing playmats, dice sleeves, calculator cases, merchandise, etc., etc. If you guys haven't checked them out already, please do so. It helps support the channel by using that discount code WinterKills10 off. You can save 10% off your entire order at checkout, so feel free to check them out down in the description below. But getting back to the game here, we see a Ray and a Area 0 linking into, of course, Hayate after chaining that Ray in response to the Area 0. And the Area 0, lucky enough for our Sky Striker player, does not miss. So he's able to grab that Engage off the top. Probably the best card you could want off of that. Engage is going to go through. He's going to be able to search for multi-roll. He could go for Widow Anchor. Tons of options here. I imagine we might see a multi-roll, though, just because if he wants to be able to make the Shizuku live on the end phase and be able to get things like Widow Anchor set back to his field, he's going to need that multi-roll. So he's going to grab the multi-roll, and then we'll see a Link summon here, probably going to Kigari. That's probably the most optimal way to go about it. And there is that Infinite Impermanence once again. No Eagle Booster in sight. He's going to force to link that off into his Shizuku and try to resolve the end phase effect here to grab a different Sky Striker spell from his deck that is in his graveyard. So Widow Anchor, of course, is live. So he's going to be able to go for that, I would assume. You want some sort of interruption for this field that he might try to assemble. We saw how easily he was able to combo last turn without any interruptions. So, I mean, the Mystic Mine was just a mere roadblock, if any, for the Lunalight deck to deal with. So, I feel like if I'm the Sky Striker player, I'm going to go for Widow Anchor. So, that's what he ends up doing. End phase, Widow Anchors the Shizuku, and then end phase sets it back. But now, as a Lunalight player, you have that knowledge of knowing where exactly that Widow Anchors, and if you get rid of it, it's banished, which Sky Strikers have no way of getting back their banished spells as of right now. So checking back row here, debating on how to sort of disassemble this field. If any players have opened up any side deck cards, of course, I think if you're the Lunalight player, you're probably siding in things like Pancratops, Twin Twister, Evenly Matched, the like. Probably some Metaverse action for the Sky Striker players. Mystic Mine is really your only stop to a heavy combo deck like this. Of course, one Widow Anchor isn't going to be enough. And looks like the Twin Twister, he does have the Twin Twister, discarding the Perfume, which is a great discard target, hitting a set double or nothing, and that Widow Anchor. Very, very unfortunate. Now using Perfume's effect engraved to banish itself and discard a card from hand. Going to discard that Orchestrated Babble, which is no problem because you can get that back the next turn by discarding a card. That Lunalight Perfume being probably one of the best cards in the deck because it is not a hard once per turn. It's a Monster Reborn and a Rhoda all in one card. So he's going to grab the Tiger there off of that effect. And the Widow Anchor is gone. You have 2 unknown cards. There is a Ray in the graveyard as well. So OTKing will be made a bit more difficult by the fact that that card can bring itself back out. There's Pankratops. And there is the Kaleido Chick. Going to use its effect on summon. Seemingly Sky Striker has a response here. It is a Widow Anchor, now 3 spells engraved, but I don't think the Striker player knows that the effect that he's activating, he's actually paying cost by dumping a card to the graveyard because the effect that's actually trying to activate is the name change, I believe, of Kaleido Chick. So it will not change its name to Yellow Marten, but still dumping the Yellow Marten to the grave regardless. So seemingly a wasted Widow Anchor. But again, it's one of those niche rulings that you kind of wouldn't know if you don't play against a deck like Lunalight all the time. It kind of reminds me of Gen X Undyne. A lot of people realize that, you know, it's going to dump a water to the graveyard. That's its effect, right? So I'll negate that. But in reality, Undyne sends for cost. The actual effect I'm activating is adding Gen X Controller to hand. So negating that only does me a good thing because I don't get Controller to my hand. I can just resolve more Undynes later in the match. But that's an example right there. So, yeah, going into the 4 Strix to add the Zephyros to hand, and then some shenanigans here with the Tiger, summoning out the Yellow Marten from grave by bouncing it back to his hand. So his Tiger and Zephyros in hand. Now going into the Phoenix. Still has this Pankratops on his field as well, which he has not opted to use yet. No threats rearing their ugly heads at this point. Seemingly 2 Widow Anchors cleared, though. So, I mean, if you've cleared 2 Widow Anchors already, you've got to be feeling pretty confident that perhaps there isn't any other interruptions lying in wake. Although he's definitely aware of Mystic Mine because he did get Mystic Mine dropped on him in the previous game. Although he was able to out it pretty easily. I guess with that Pankratops, you really don't care too much about Mystic Mine because I think you'd be able to chain to the activation of Mystic Mine to be able to clear that card. Now dumping Marten to the graveyard, it looks like, off of Kaleido Chick. And then using Zephyros to bounce that Scale back to his hand, I believe. And take 400 damage, which is a measly cost to pay, if at any. And then playing Tiger back down to special summon Marten. So another rank 4 play is possible here. He hasn't used any Nightmare effects. Thinking about perhaps going for a Link 4. Thinking perhaps about Boral Sword, maybe, yes or no. But then visions of Sky Striker Ace Ray appear in the head, and then you're like, I can't technically OTK through that because it's going to make Kaina, and Kaina's going to make my life a lot more difficult. So instead, opting for a rank 4 play here, going for what I would assume to be, yep, the Abyss Dweller, and that is going to potentially turn off Ray. Would most likely turn off Ray, unless he has some another Widow Anchor, perhaps, which would be just absolutely insane if he had another one. But now linking off into a Galatea. And now going to start using that Orcust engine to its fullest extent, using the Nightmare to dump a Dark Machine to the graveyard. It's probably going to be Harporer. And then we'll see that probably be banished here in a moment. Yep, going for what I assume to be Simple Skeleton. And now has the opportunity to do a really easy setup with Dingirsu, because you can just make Dingirsu over top and then link away with the Simple Skeleton. You got yourself a Galatea with that Disruption. Not during the opponent's turn, though, however, because that Fuel Spell we saw him have to discard earlier. Sending the Metaverse to the graveyard. So opting not to use that because that Pankratops still is on the field, which I believe would completely turn off that Mystic Mine before it even had a chance to take an effect. And Abyss Dweller being activated, turning off all graveyard effects, swinging in for tons of damage. Then Dingirsu only being dropped down to 23, so be able to swing over for 8, 20, or 17, 26, 12, and I believe 18 or 19 from Zephyros, which is just going to be game o' plenty. So a swift 2-0 from Lunalights there on the Sky Striker player. I hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and let me know if you guys want to see that Lunalight deck profile, because I can definitely get that up to you guys, and it will be going up regardless. So just let me know if you guys want to see it, though. I'd love to see if anybody really wants to see that profile. So thank you guys so much for watching. Join Discord, follow me on Twitch, and check out Imperium Duelist as well. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, Winterkill signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.